Hi and welcome back. My name is Romans. I work for company Agile Toolkit, and our team builds more intuitive and more agile tools for PHP developers. And I have been talking about one of our projects called Agile Data, which purpose is to connect some of the concepts between ORM and query building. In my previous video, I have talked about how we can express references to fields and intermingle them with the queries. And this video will be a kind of a conclusion of this series, and we will actually talk about how you can use Agile Data for your specific project needs. So let's talk about business requirements. Suppose we have to create a file which I should be able to execute from a command line, and giving the ID of the client, I need to show the information about this client as well as a list of his projects. So something very simple, but you would typically have something similar on your web page. Additionally, we need to make sure that if the client doesn't exist, if it's specified incorrect ID, it will error out, generate an exception, and the other thing is that the project we're showing, there are certain requirements for that as well, so they have to be ordered by showing the biggest budget on top. There shouldn't be more than 10 projects per page, and but we also have to show a total amount of budget per client. So let's get into developing this, and first I'll have to revisit my model and the client, and in my previous session we implemented this functionality where I had a field called total, but I did that inside the console, so it didn't actually end up in this saved file. So every time I close console, these additional relations and additional fields, they disappear. Now that I have copied it inside the init method, my client will always have the total field, which will aggregate correctly. The other requirement was that instead of showing all the projects, I have to show all of the projects which are not cancelled. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to define a new relationship I'm going to go to active project, and the way I will define it is slightly different. So instead of specifying the object over here, I'm going to go ahead with a callback. The reason I'm going with callback is because I want to make use of existing reference project, but I want to modify it slightly by adding a new condition and saying it's not cancelled. Okay, adding a semicolon over here, and then the total field I'm adding, I want to add it on the second condition over here, or on the second relation reference over here, not the first one. Let's call it total active, just so we're clear. Okay, and again, I can go back to console if I want, and create a new model. So m client db, and export it to see the results. Okay, and as expected, it's now showing me only the active projects from McDonald's. Now this is what I need, right? That's exactly what I needed for my application. My next step would be to actually create this application. So let's go ahead and create a new file. Well, actually, I'm going to use a console probably, just duplicate that. I'm going to call it task 1. Okay. The connection remains the same. I won't need the connection over here. And now I have to actually create a project. So M is going to be a model client. There we go. Okay, so that's should be a client name. I forgot one step. I have to actually load the model. And let's do argv1. I believe it's like this. I'm not sure, but let's go ahead and test this. That's a new file. Task 1. Oh, okay. Okay. Perfect. And here I just have to use the proper name, which is called total active. Okay. My next challenge is, let's say now I specify the record which is incorrect, so we have this nasty exception. I want to have a nicer exception. And Agile data actually has a pretty good way of displaying the errors. So I'm going to do try catch block. And in here I need to use AD4 core exception. And the benefit of the core exception is that I can do echo, show colorful text, especially when I'm working in a console application. Oh, come on. Okay, so that's how Agile toolkit exceptions look like if we actually allow them to be displayed in color. You see it has a lot of nice information, such as which object generated the error, what was that template ID to load, so I'll try to load ID0, and then all that other information. As my next step, I need to traverse into the projects and iterate, display them one by one. So I'll be using for each. And in here, I'm going to use mref project sp. And that's what I'm going to use for now. Perfect. Now, not only I have a client, but also I can see the list of projects over here. My next step would be to look at this reference over here and add a couple of cleanups. So first of all, I want them in a proper order. And I want to order by budget. Okay, that's actually reverse, so I want a budget descending. Next thing I want is set limit. Let me show you how it works with 2. So it works with 2. 10 would be the reasonable limit. And as a final requirement, I want to have a condition. What I'm saying is, so I don't want cancel projects to be shown here. Okay, and yeah, the limit is still set to 10, just only 2 projects which are not cancelled. So there's a 4,000 over here, and the other option, instead of actually writing this one, yeah, let's actually do active projects. So we'll have exactly the same effect. Okay, and we are pretty much done with our application. I will just show you one last part, which is how we can slightly optimize it. When optimizing, we need to know what queries it emits. So when connecting, there is an extension ability to dump queries. So if I add dumper in front of the connection string like this, and then run my application again, it will actually show me 2 queries. The problem with these 2 queries is that they query every single field inside the definition of my models, and I don't really want that, because for a model I only need 2 fields, which is name and total active. So let me specify that. So I am there we go. And in this, for this iteration, the same thing. I only need name and budget. And now if I run it, oops, now if I run my application, you'll see that the queries are much more tolerable. They're shorter, I think. Yeah, okay, so that's a subquery, which is quite big, but it only includes doesn't include address anymore. But if there would be more fields in here, then filtering out only the relevant field is actually quite a good optimization. So as a final step, I'm removing the dumper, and I'm finished with my project. That's it. This is how you can use Agile data inside your project. All you need to do is to have this one, establish database connection, and you can start working with the models. And if you have any question or any doubt about how specific object operates, be sure to run the console and try a couple of things inside the console. Thank you for watching this video. I'm hoping to create another batch and publish them, so do subscribe to this channel, and I'll try to post more videos later on. Thank you.